Showtime!
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats.
Showtime!
Please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Showtime!
Let the magic begin.
Welcome back to Future Tech, your weekly source for latest in tech and innovation and business. And I'm the startup coach. And with me, as always, I'm joined by my co-host, John Irwin. How you doing today, John?
Good, Craig. How are you? It's a little rainy out there today.
Yeah, we had a false start with StreamYards this morning, so this is take two, but we might as well jump right into it, where we're breaking internet speed records like by a factor of 4.5 million.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So a new world record was set. The previous one was in 2020, and this was set for internet transmission speed. So researchers from Aston University in the UK were part of an international team that achieved an internet speed of 301 terabits per second using standard optical fiber. Now, just to put this into perspective, you said it's 4.5 million times faster than the average broadband speed. To put that into further perspective, at 301 terabits per second, you could essentially download every single movie that's listed on IMDb in about a minute, which is crazy. Obviously, you're getting into read and write speeds limitations and things like that, but theoretically, yeah. And the way they accomplished this was developing a new optical processing device that takes advantage of previously unused wavelength bands in fiber optic cables. So now they're utilizing E-band and S-band, and they were currently, I think it's C and L-band that are used. So the new bands provide a potential vast increase in transmission capacity through a single fiber. And the way that they did this was by breakthroughs in optical modulation and multiplexing techniques that allow packing many more data channels into a single fiber strand. So some of the key innovations included programmable frequency combs and parallel single sideband modulation. So the thing is you're not going to see these record-breaking speeds, and we don't really need them yet. But as technologies like AI, VR, autonomous vehicles that rely on fast, robust data transfer become more and more common, we're going to need this backbone fiber network with this upgraded transmission speed in order to handle all of that data. Now, does that mean that the consumer is going to get that fiber speed to their house? Potentially. But as we've covered before, maybe we haven't. Wireless transmission speeds are getting up there too. Now, again, we can talk conspiracy, and we're talking more RF signals in the air and all that sort of stuff. But at least we have a breakthrough in fiber technology if we get away from the RF, which I don't think we ever will.
Yeah, this looks really interesting. Sorry. I see this applying more to the back end than to the home, so we could actually potentially start actually getting true gigabit Ethernet or internet to the home, where the back end could have, terabyte connection speeds, so that we could get our home speeds actually faster. Maybe not these speeds, but performing at a decent level.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I'm hoping that it's true. I should do some more research on the actual frequencies and how they're able to transmit them through the fiber. So those that don't know, the way that fiber optic works is it works on light transmission. So you literally have strands of glass that is what the fiber is made up of. And you have on each end, you have a mux or demux on each end that will transmit pulses of light. And that's how your data gets transferred. Obviously, it's a lot more complex than that, but that's just so that those of you that don't know how fiber works. And so we do have a robust, all the cables that are undersea, those are all fiber cables and things like that. So I'm hoping that they don't have to replace those. And if we are, then hopefully, if we don't have to replace them, then hopefully it's just investments in new routers, switches, multiplexers, all the hardware itself, instead of the actual fiber network.
Yeah, and the network interface cards, the next, like, when the servers are going to have multiplex NICs into redundant switches to perform at any level. But like right now, that's great. Okay, so we can upgrade the fiber. We can, with some hardware that doesn't exist today, upgrade the network interface cards and the backbone of all these switches that like have to be, if the interface is terabits, the backbone's going to have to be petabits. So it's crazy. But what's the average hard drive speed right now?
I don't even know what it
100,
is. And
100 megs, 200 megs per second.
This would be more SSD than hard drive, right? Because the SSD,
but, and I'll Google that right now. But I'm just saying that, what do you do as a consumer? Okay, you can download 9,000 HD movies in a second. You got nowhere to put them. Like, how does this change all the game? We talked about petabyte storage on those optical discs, which are years away, but those are going to be way slow.
Those are super slow. Yeah.
What hardware else needs to be upgraded to get us to a level where we can actually accept this kind of performance?
Well, not only the hardware, but all of the buses and everything. And sorry, buses are like the communication channels for those that don't know. For the hard drive with the computer with the NIC. So there's a bunch of things that are going to have to be upgraded in order to handle these speeds. I don't even know what the fastest SSD can handle right now, but there's going to need 20 megabytes. So 20 megabytes per second to 550
200 to 550.
Yeah. And that's megabytes, not bits. So that's higher. So.
And it says a typical is 80 to 160, but the SSD read and writes between 200 and 550. I can run a speed test shortly on my new MacBook M3, and I can tell you what its throughput is in a bit while we're doing this. But that's nowhere near the gigabit connection we have right now. Never mind, I'm on a gigabit connection to my Switch here, which is on gigabit connection to Kojiko, but my download speeds won't be anywhere near that. And my computer can't handle it once it gets in. How many years are we going to be to the point where we can handle a terabit? Never mind 301 terabytes.
Well, just to put that into perspective, though, so they're giving it to you in megabytes, right? And we're talking terabits and bits, right? So if we were to convert that 550, or let's say 500, or that 550 to megabits, we're talking 4,400 megabits. So it's still a long ways away. But if we're talking, we just got to talk in the same kind of transmission. So,
well, according to this, if I have this right, a 550 megabyte equals 0.000
yeah, which is 4,400 megabits. That's the equivalent. Because if you move the
that's not true, because we're doing 100. It's not divided by 1,000 because it's bits. It's 125,000 or something. It's because it's 1,024, right?
Yeah,
it's not a round number, so it skews.
Yeah, it's off. But anyway,
So my point being is we're at a magnitude that we can't even handle that. Like I've got, 256. You might get a terabyte hard drive. So what point are we going to, this stuff we're going to see come anywhere close to being able to perform at that level? It's great that visually stuff can come in, and maybe it'll help with VR and the metaverse and whatnot once we've got everything. But what level do our hardware, how much faster does our hardware have to be able to handle that input? Not only hold it coming in, but process it and deal with it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need it. It's like I'm talking probably 100,000 times faster in order to handle this. But that's just a guess. Yeah.
So we're hoping this will hit the back end. That it'll be server farms, telcos, whatnot. Again, I implemented these back end stuff for companies like Bell Mobility. So we're not talking about small companies. So this stuff is going to be millions and millions of dollars of upgrades for the high end equipment. So, do you see how quickly we're going to be able, maybe not to get to this theoretical speed, but you said the last test was 170 terabits.
Yeah, I think that's more. Well, that's even ridiculous. But I think that we're going to slowly get up there. So I think that this is maybe 3 or 4 upgrades away. I think hardware upgrades away. But who knows? I'm going based off of history, right? And if we're looking at it, things are advancing quicker than they used to back in the day. So maybe it's not 3 or 4 hardware upgrades away. Maybe it's 2 or 1. I don't know.
Yeah, so we have to understand, we're talking about the cable, and whether we'd have to really upgrade the cables or not. Broadly speaking, the data sent via optical cable, like a home or office internet connection.
So then, apparently they figured it out. So
so we broadly speaking. So I don't know. We might need a new category of fiber for this. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because you're saying it uses these new bands, and we don't know what the refraction level is on any of those. Do you think we're reaching the optical physical limit of current fiber technology? Or you think there's headroom to go way higher than this?
I think there's still potential to push it even higher in the future. So we can continue to incrementally improve the spectral efficiency through techniques like more advanced modulation formats, better forward error correction, increased spatial multiplexing, and tighter channel spacing as we upgrade components. So as we see progress in lasers, modulators, amplifiers, filters, switches, processors, for example, moving from CMOS to photonic integrated circuits, multi-mode fiber, multi-core fiber, new bands, non-silica fiber. So transitioning from silica glass to polymer or hollow core photonic bandgap fibers can definitely lift those limitations on latency and loss and things like that. And then, like we talked about, in order to handle this stuff, optical computing. So processing data directly in the optical domain instead of converting that. So that's going to be key as well. So while 301 terabits is super fast, they're continuing. I feel like they're going to break that in the next year or two, even maybe.
Yeah, like it says here, the ability to increase speeds without deploying new fiber and cables also makes it a greener way to upgrade a commercial internet speed. So the plan is to use as much of the fiber that's out there as possible by increasing the transmission capacity. So they're planning on using this technology, whatever it is, and putting it in the NICs and the switches to get that moving. And they talked about in the article about the backbones, having built multiple data centers, it's the backbone that really needs to happen. So you're going to start seeing servers with 4 or 8 or dual 4 multiplexed fiber channel networking cards running into multiple servers to start getting this kind of speed. This is groundbreaking. We have some of the highest internet costs in the world. Is this going to
internet and cellular? Yeah.
Is this going to reduce our costs in Canada? Maybe.
No, it's just a way for them to charge us more, faster speed, pay more. All we had to do was buy some new hardware, but hey, pay more.
Yeah. So this looks like it's going to be expensive upgrades on the networking centers for their backbone hardware that runs the internet. We got to move on to the next one. This is incredible. I love anytime we can increase our internet speed. Any final words before we move on?
No, this is interesting. I'll be interested to know when the next world record is broken. So,
John, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm not going to it yet, but OCI Discovery X is next week. Should be a phenomenal conference. I think it's 2 days in Toronto. But that's I've got. Oh, there's a fractional dinner that's been organized by Ryan Wong coming up this April 25th which is going to be really cool. He does some really good events. He does some generative AI events and different things. So really cool stuff. There's a post on LinkedIn that I posted about it. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And then on May 2nd, but we'll be talking more about it, but might as well plug it now. We've got Startup Drinks, which I'm excited for. I always love that.
Yeah, Startup Drinks CO on May 2nd. We've already got like 40 tickets sold, so it's going to be a good one. If find out more at Toronto Starts, all our podcasts and events and whatnot go up there. I'll be launching new courses and coaching programs soon. If you're stuck in your business and want to move forward, go to startupcoach.ca and book a discovery call. I'm launching some new courses to teach knowledge workers, busy professionals, technical gurus how to turn their knowledge into a high ticket course. So look for that coming soon, and basically teaching people how to productize their knowledge.
Perfect.
And if people wanted to, let me see. Oh, that's a ticker. Never mind.
That's fine.
They should reach out to you on LinkedIn for anything funding related.
Anything funding related. Yeah, there's always new funds coming out. There's a new one by OCI that just came out. If you're in the construction field or critical technologies, there's a new one that just released. It's a new program. It's a 2-year program. Feel free. It's for housing and different things like that. So, yeah.
That's John Irwin on LinkedIn. And we got one last comment here. Quasars and black holes remind me of charges and spins. I wonder what the difference is. So maybe one is definitely a megastructure. We talked about glowing black holes last week.
Yeah. So that's a great comment. Feel free. We talked about in depth in our previous podcast, and this is episode 22, I think. We've got 21 other episodes on Spotify and on Apple Music and on YouTube. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's not exactly accurate. We've recorded 22 of these, but after about 4 episodes, I started breaking them up into each. We cover 3 topics, and there's 3 episodes per. I think we're around episode 30 on Spotify, and but yeah, you're
right. I underestimated. I apologize.
No, it's all right. It's okay. Thank you, everyone. Check out the Future Tech Podcast on Apple Podcasts or on Toronto Starts, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Wow, that was amazing.
That is all